Hey BookTube, it's Jackie again. Welcome back. I'm sitting on my floor talking about some more books, but today we are actually going to be talking about the Buzzword Challenge that is hosted by BooksandLaLa. I will link her announcement video about the challenge down below, but a quick crash course to this challenge is essentially she picked a list of buzzwords, one word for each month, or like a category of words, one for each month. And you are to pick a book that meets that challenge or meets that buzzword, or completely design your whole TBR around that buzzword. I'm doing the latter statement, where I pick one book of that buzzword for my TBR. So I still have some leeway to play around and kind of have fun with my TBR, maybe set some mood reading if I feel like it. So I'm going to show you some books I picked out for the buzzwords, because I wanted this challenge to help me read down my personal TBR. And you can kind of see some books are missing behind me because they're literally sitting all around me right now. So I'm going to start off with going over each word per month and showing you the options of what I had to choose. So when that month comes around, those are the books I'm going to be choosing out of for this particular challenge when I create my TBR. So January's buzzword is the 5 W's of who, what, when, where, and why. When I went through my book collection, I thought I had a lot more to choose from than I do. I actually only had 2 books that met this challenge. So these are my 2 options. So for January, I will either be reading Beth Harbison's When in Doubt, Add Butter, or I'll be reading Lori Wick's Where the Wild Rose Blooms. This I have never read before, but I have read many of her prior works, and I love all of her stuff. They're really quick contemporary reads. They're fun. They usually have a good message, and they're just kind of fun and free. This, however, is a reread. This would be a reread for me. I read this book originally in high school, and the lead character's name is Jackie. So I'm leaning towards this one right now, but I'll see when I actually design my January TBR. And I get my TBR jar challenge book picked out, plus my classic for the month. So we will see what I've got going on. But these are my 2 options for January. So I'll be keeping these to the side because I have to design that TBR very soon. February's buzzword was pronouns. So he, she, they, them. One of those types of pronouns have to appear in the title, or you, or I. Is I a pronoun? I don't know. I was not an English person. But he, she, they, them, you know, those kind of words where you don't want to use a proper name. So for these, I had a little bit more options to choose from. I actually had 3. I had 3 books to choose from. I was actually really impressed. And the 3 I had to choose from for February is Jan Weston's His Last Letter, Elizabeth I and Earl of Leicester. This is one of the few historical fiction books that I have not read that are on my shelf. Ronald Balson's Once We Were Brothers. So there's the pronoun. Oh, here's the pronoun of his, and then we. This was really popular on BookTube in like 2015, 2014, I want to say. Maybe a little earlier than that. But a lot of people were still reading it in 2016 when I first started YouTube. Back in the day. And I've owned it for a long time. I've never read it. And then the last one I have to choose from is The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dade. This is one of the Book of the Month Club books that I picked. And this is the Book of the Month edition. I am a member of Book of the Month. I love them. And I have quite a few books down here of them. This is like where my Book of the Month shelf is. And this is one of them I have not read. And I picked this one because if I remember correctly, it's about a woman who marries a man with a daughter, and then the man dies, and then the stepmom is left with the daughter by herself. If I remember correctly, this is that book. So it's not that my husband has died. Dear God forbid that. but it's kind of a little bit up my alley, something I can sort of relate to being a step parent. So those are my picks for February. March's buzzword is a location, so any place that has a location. Really thought I had more of these, but I don't. I learned through this challenge that I don't have a lot of buzzword-worthy books, apparently. So, that was fun. So I have one that's for sure meets this challenge, and then one that's kind of a stretch. The for sure one is Mary, Queen of Scotland, and the Isles. Scotland is obviously a location. This is by Margaret George. I actually hauled this book in 2016 on my first year of doing this. This is how long I've had this book. And there's some kind of sticky substance on this book that I don't know what it is, and it's gross. Ew. Lovely. I'll have to take some goo gone to that. But so the Margaret George, Mary, Queen of Scotland, and the Isles. And then I also, the other option, a novel by Lindsay Fay, The Gods of Gotham. Gotham's really not a real place, but I needed another option. So this is my other option. I'm a big Batman fan, so this book has nothing to do with Batman at all. So, but we're gonna go with it. So I can either go to Scotland or I can go to Gotham. And there's a size difference in the books, so we'll see what happens. April is big and little, so kind of the difference, or it could be either or. I had no books except one that had big or the word big or the word little in them. And the only one I had was little, and that is Hana Yanagihara's A Little Life. This was massive on BookTube a few years ago, and apparently this book literally destroys anybody who reads it. And since this is the only option I have for this challenge, I guess in April I'm reading it. Spoiler alert! Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun realization when I found that one out. May, birthday month, is directions. So I had a few that I could kind of stretch to make this one, but I decided to do more specific just so I could actually like read books down. So I have two options. I have Richard Adams' Watership Down. I read this book originally in 6th grade with my 6th grade class. We read along, and then the movie, and then 2 years ago, Netflix released the Watership Down little mini series on Netflix. I want to say it was 2 years ago. I watched it and I loved it, with James McAvoy as the voice, and I just loved it. I've always loved this story, so it'd be kind of cool if I got to read this one. And then I have the option of Ruth Rendell's The Girl Next Door. So my direction is down or next. Those are my directional words. So these are my options for May. June is an actual word that has to appear in the title, and the word is all. I literally have one book that meets this requirement. And it is a reread for me, but it's okay because it's a really good one. It's All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque. I read this book. I read this in 2016, but I also read it again in 2018 because I love this book. It's phenomenal. So this will be my only pick for June because it's the only book that I have that has the word all in it. I was like, really? That's kind of annoying. July's buzzword is books with books-related words in the title. So, like page, library, book, series, book-related terminology. And I had 3 to choose from. I have Matt Haig's The Midnight Library. Super popular. A lot of people love this book. I have yet to read it, but a lot of people just rave about this book, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. I have The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I just read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix not more than 2 months ago. I loved it until the very end, and it just kind of ended. And it kind of annoying me. Like, my entire book, we read it for my book club, and we were all in it, we loved it, and then all of a sudden it's just like, and it's over. That was like the most anticlimactic ending ever. Kind of sucked. So I'm a little leery about this one, but I've also heard really good things that this is a better representation of his writing than My Best Friend's Exorcism. So I have this one to choose from as well. And then I also have Clive Barker's Books of Blood, volumes 1 to 3. This is the same Clive Barker that wrote Hellraiser, and I love Hellraiser. It's one of my favorites. So I'm pretty pumped about this one. Granted, this would be in July, and this is more of like an authentic October read, but you know what? I'm going to do what I feel is right for me at that time of the month. So those are my options for July. August's buzzword is items. So the title has to just include an item. I have a lot of these, so I've only grabbed 3 options that I have, but I do have other choices. But these are the 3 that currently in my mind's eye that I'm like, yeah, this could be good. I could do this. This sounds good. So the 3 choices that I have are the J.R.R. Tolkien's The Fellowship of the Ring. Did anybody just mention down below if you watched Lord of the Rings on December 19th, the 20th anniversary of it? Because I sure did. Did not miss that anniversary, nor did I miss the Harry Potter anniversary. So, and Harry Potter is every book has an item in it, so you can throw the entire Harry Potter series in this month. So it is a possibility that you might see a Harry Potter book, but I didn't want to bring that whole set down. But if you did watch the 20th anniversary, if you watched it on the 20th anniversary, mark it down below. I would love to know my Lord of the Ringsy fans over here. Like, I love that movie. It is one of the greatest trilogies ever made. It's awesome. Yeah, J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. I read The Hobbit actually last year, so that would kind of work out really, really well. This is the sequel to The Bone Season, Samantha Shannon's The Mime Order. I read The Bone Season in 2020, actually. It was the first book I read during the COVID shutdown. When the world got shut down in that March, that was the first book I picked up. Because I had it forever, and so I picked it up. And I did enjoy it. It was a really interesting concept. I just haven't gotten back to the rest of the series, so I might use this to get back into it. But yeah, this is definitely one, and I think the series is complete, or the 4th book just came out, so I have no problem getting back into it. And then the last one I have, just to show you, but again, there are multiple options, is Andrea Stewart's The Bone Shard's Daughter. I have heard so many booktubers rave about this book. I have had personal friends read this book and love it, so I definitely wanted to give it a try. So I put it as one of my options for this challenge, just kind of what I'm feeling in August, because I don't know how I'm going to feel in August. August is my stepdaughter's birthday, and she goes back to school. It's my niece's birthday, so there's a lot of stuff going on, so I don't know what kind of mood I'm going to be in. So I've got some nice options. So, but I do know the sequel for this has just come out, and I would really like to read it. So, September's buzzwords are light and dark, and both of my options are dark because I'm a dark kind of girl. Little factoid, my wedding was actually on Halloween of 2020. We got married on Halloween, and we had a Gothic Victorian wedding. So, like the darkness. So I have, for that, Dark Amelia by Sally O'Reilly. I've had this book for a long time, and I've never read it, but it is about Shakespeare's girlfriend? Wife, I guess. So I thought that would be kind of neat, and then you, of course, have the word dark. Then I also chose Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal. I bought these on my birthday last year. I have The Dark Crystal and The Labyrinth, and then other poems and short stories. I love The Dark Crystal. I love it. It's not my top 5 favorite films, but it is definitely up there. I love the Skeksis. I think they're freaking cool as hell. And I really, really like the Netflix Dark Crystal series that they came out, and I am so pissed that there is not going to be a season 2. I am so angry about that. I understand it takes a lot because they do the whole puppetry and everything, but seriously, that series was amazing. Netflix, if anybody at Netflix is watching this, dear God, bring it back. You have a fan. I will watch it over and over and over again. Mark Hamill as a Sketsky is a godsend. All right? Just saying. But anyway, so this is on the option for dark and light months. So here are my options for those. October is creatures and animals. I didn't have a lot of books with a creature in the title, but I had quite a few with animals. So I just grabbed a few that I have. I actually grabbed 4 as an option. Patrick Ness's The Crane Wife. I've been holding on this book for a long time. It's a beloved book on BookTube, but I've never read it. I've never read a Patrick Ness. And so I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I have almost unhauled this book so many times, I've never read it. But everyone keeps saying that it's really worth it. So I've just held on to it. So maybe I'll finally use this challenge to finally read it. I also have the option of A Line Among Men, the volume 3 in the Wicked Years. I read Son of a Witch last year during, or not last year, 2020, during COVID. And I loved Wicked. I still have a review for Wicked down below. I'll try to link it up. They'll be linked up later, but I will try eventually get back and link it up. But I do have a review for Wicked, and it's wicked. Just watch the review. It explains it all. But this is the 3rd book in the series. So I wasn't really a big fan of Son of a Witch. I actually kind of hated that book. So I don't know how I'm going to feel, but I still would really like to know what the rest of the series is about. So I might pick this one up. I also have an option as Eric Axelson's The Crow Girl. This is supposed to be like a horror book. So definitely something I might pick up in October, since it is October and horror, and you know, it goes together. So, and it's supposed to be super, super spooky. Like, super spooky. Another option I have is, this one I just recently bought, Terry Miles' Rabbits. I know nothing about this, but I saw the cover and I was like, I have no idea what that's about. I have zero idea, but it sounded really cool based off the dust jacket, and it was very much a cover buy. Like, this was legit cover buy. November, the category is words ending in ing. So there are hundreds of those. And the ones I chose, I have 3 options. I picked Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, which is one of my favorite classics. And this is one of my Penguin cloth-bound classics that I so dearly love. My husband bought me the Bronte set. So I have all the Brontes like this. And Wuthering Heights is one of my favorites, so I love it. It's so pretty. I also have Lauren Buke's The Shining Girls. I've had this for quite a while too. It's supposed to be a horror book as well. So I have this option. I don't really know much about it, but I will research them further when it's time to actually pick the books. And then I've got quite a few of this series, Bill O'Reilly's Killing series, and they all have the word killing in the front of them. I own Killing Kennedy, Killing Lincoln, Killing Jesus, and Killing the Mob. Those are the 4 I currently own. I have read Killing Jesus. So I might choose one of the Killing books. Maybe Killing Kennedy, since you know I am Jackie Kennedy now. It works. But those are my options for November, words ending in ing. December's option is numbers. It just has to have a number appear in the title. I've got quite a few numbers, but there's one book in particular that I've had for a long time. So I think this is the only option I'm going to go with because I really want to read it. And it is Roberto Bologna's 2666 or 2066 or 2666, however you want to say it. I learned about this book on Better Than Food book reviews. And I did some research, and it's a 6-hour play. Like, the play of this book is 6 hours. Other than that, I don't really know much else about it. I don't. But it's always intrigued me. I bought the book. I love the cover. Every review I've ever seen of it, it says it's great. So, Yeah. This is the only option I have for numbers. I mean, I have other books that have numbers in them, but this is the only one that immediately I saw that I'm like, 2666. That's the one it's got to be. But we'll see how December happens when December comes around. But this right now is my number one option for that one. So those are the books that I have set aside for the Buzzword Challenge. All books that I currently own. This challenge is going to be only books that I own currently, and so I don't have to buy anymore. But those are the options I have. So you will be seeing at least 12 of these on future TBRs in total. So I hope this maybe gave you some ideas if you're doing this challenge. I would love to know what books you're picking if you are I would love to know what books you guys are choosing for this challenge if you're taking part in this challenge. Let me know down below and we'll get a little discussion going about it. So until next time, I will be back with you with my January TBR, and you will find out which of these two I have chosen to make the list. Will it be butter or roses? Who knows? We'll find out. See you guys.